Grand Rising, what it do, lineage. Why go on? This is your brother Chief Kalinago with another video, man. Hope everybody had a beautiful sunrise and, like I said, Grand Rising to you. We're about to get into a little bill right now. Let me make sure I have audio on Facebook. Grand Rising. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Facebook, Facebook is good. And I'm certainly sure we have audio on YouTube. So I know some of you may be at work, some of you may be in school. Whatever the case is, if you miss the live, then I'm certainly sure you'll catch the recording, right? But once again, all this is done for just educational purposes, enlightenment purposes, and I'm a teacher, so I'm here to teach, I'm here to reach, and my ultimate goal is to make you, well, at least show you the path to becoming a better man and a better woman, closer to your goal of becoming perfect. You feel me? Um, and we are perfect, and I'll explain all that. But there's different levels to perfection, right? So that's what this is all about. Okay, stepping closer into becoming your better you. All right, that's what this is all about. So in this video, this lesson, what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about space. I'm going to talk about universal mind, individual mind, consciousness, and impressions, right? The combination of all these characteristics, it literally makes up who you are. You feel me? And that's what I'm going to talk about here today. So hopefully, we'll get a few people, even if everybody might be probably still in bed or at work, like I said, or in school. So the first thing we're going to talk about is when you look at yourself as an individual, most times, we see ourselves only as the flesh, right? And that is because we are taught that we are the flesh. Okay. No one never asks us the question, who are you? The questions we are always asked when we are growing up is, what do you want to become? Okay. And that question alone in itself, to me, it poses as a problem. And I'll tell you why. Because when someone asks you, what do you want to become? They are literally making an impression in your mind that you have to be converted. Okay. You have to be converted. What does that mean? It means that whatever you were born, you know what I mean? You have to alter that to something else. Think about what I'm saying. When we have children, right? We never ask them, who are you? And that's a question we should always ask our children. I remember when my son was still, a baby, right? And when I say baby, he was, I mean, he's always going to be my baby. But when I say baby, I'm talking about he was probably like, I think about the age of 7. I think it was 7, if I'm not mistaken. And I looked at him, in his eyes, right? And I said, son, you know, let me ask you a question. He said, yes, Dad. I asked him, who are you? And I wish I could have gone back and videotape that experience, because the look in his eyes, he just didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to respond, because you see, I didn't ask him, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what do you want to become? I asked him, who are you? In other words, I gave him a question that was dealing with the now. With the now. Now, the word now is spelled N-O-W. I asked him a word that pertains to the now, and he couldn't answer the question. Why is that? Because most of us are taught to live in the past and to live in the future. Now, had I asked him, son, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm certainly sure his face would have lit up and he would have said something else. So what I did was I asked him another question. I said, son, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he smiled. And then the first thing he said, he wants to be a police officer, right? That's what he said. So I diverted and I said, son, you see the difference? I didn't ask you first. The first question was I asked you was, who are you? I didn't want to know what you want to be when you grow up or what you want to become. I asked you, who are you right now? And he was still confused. Long story short, I had to break it down to him. And at the age of 7, I let my son know that he was not the flesh and that he is God because God is within him. You feel me? The higher self. Okay. And that was at the age of 7. All right. I'm saying all that to say is because of society and the teachings and the ideologies and the indoctrination of society, we tend to repeat the same inconsistencies in teaching our children because what we are supposed to guide our children and how we're supposed to guide them, we are not doing that because we always keep them in the past or we tend to project them in the future and we never teach them about the now. And the now is all that exists. You feel me? The now is all that exists. If you live in the now, I promise you, eventually it's going to create your past and it will create your future. So that means you don't have to focus on the past or the present. I mean, not the present or the future. Okay? I'm not saying that you cannot make plans for the future, but I said focus. Okay? Focus. That's the difference. All right? I'm kind of like extending that and being a little long-winded because I really want you to grasp the concept of what I'm saying here. Ask yourself, who am I? Not what I want to become. Too many of us have never asked ourselves that question. We always want to know what we want to become. What you want to become, okay, is literally something external. What you want to become is something external. What you want to become is because of what I call outside stimuli or stimulus. Okay? Meaning that everything that you want to become, they are perceptions of other people's projections. But what you are, who you are, is what you were manifested here to be. That's your purpose. That's your identity. You feel me? So I hope you see the difference. Greetings, Supreme Health. So I hope you see the difference in asking yourself or asking your children, who are you or what you want to become? Okay? Because when you manifested here on earth, meaning that your arrival, as soon as you, in fact, even before you arrived, when you were birthed, because as soon as the sperm meets the egg, right? That is your earthly birth. Okay, that is your earthly birth. Now, before your earthly birth, there's a spiritual birth called the Immaculate Conception. Each and every one of us is an Immaculate Conception. So once again, the Bible is an allegory. Jesus is an allegory. Yeshua is an allegory. These people were not real people. They are a depiction. They are mythology to tell you about your life. We are all Immaculate Conceptions. However, you got to stop thinking of yourself as the flesh. So the Immaculate Conception happens. Then 3 months later, the sperm meets the egg. That is your physical birth, not your arrival, your birth. Okay? Your solar return. And then when you come out of your mother's waters, then that is your arrival. So a lot of times, not a lot of times, the majority of the world going around here thinking that their arrival is their birth. So the government tricks you into calling your arrival your birth date. That's why they realized that when you arrived, you were a different person. So they created a certificate to present that new person, which is actually not you. You feel me? But anyway, that's another video. I've done videos on that before. I just want to kind of give you and show you and teach you the difference. You feel me? So let us talk about space right now, right? Because we're going to talk about space. We're going to talk about universal mind. We're going to talk about individual mind. We're going to talk about consciousness, meaning that both conscious and subconscious. And we're going to talk about impressions. All right. We are also going to touch a little bit on the soul versus spirit. Okay. So when we are dealing with mind first, right, we all have a mind, right? Each and every one of us have a mind. The first thing you must always remember is this: your mind is not physical. The mind isn't physical. You thinking that your mind is physical is an illusion. Your mind is not physical. And how they tricked you into believing, once again, the word believe, BELIE, in the word belief or believe, there is lie. So they are lying to you, and they tell you and they program us from a very young age that we are only able to use 10% of our mind or our brain, right? Remember, when you hear the word brain, your brain is not your mind, and your mind is not your brain. Your brain is physical. Your mind is not physical in the sense of it being in your body. You feel me? So never subject yourself to subscribing to this false ideology that you are only able to use 10% of your mind. That is limiting yourself, okay? That is casting a spell upon your own self. So for us to talk about the mind, then we would have to ask the question, well, where is the mind? Where is the mind situated at? Well, the mind is in space. All right. That's why I had to kind of like, even if we are talking about the mind, I had to interject space in there because that's where the mind is. The mind is in space. All right. And your brain, your head, is considered the space where your mind is. Okay. Now you have your individual mind, and you also have universal mind. The universal mind is what we may call the macro. The macro. The macro is the colossal or the grand scheme of things. All right. And then we have the micro. The micro is a reflection, but a smaller version of the macro. Okay. So basically, what am I saying is this: your individual mind is a direct replica of the universal mind. It's just on a smaller scale. So therefore, all the knowledge that's in universal mind is actually in yours. But because of the dumbed down effect, okay, because of the state of forgetfulness, because of the reality of Nod, because that's what Nod is, to be exiled, the wanderer, the sleeper, the what we call it, another word for sleep, coma. Okay, that's what the land of Nod really means. You feel me? So with that being said, universal mind is the macro, and your individual mind is the micro. And I've given you the example of the ocean in the past. If you go, let us look at the ocean as the universal mind. Okay? And then let us go into the ocean and take about 1,000 cups of ocean water. My question to you is, isn't the water in the cup the same as the ocean water? Yes, it is. It is just in a smaller capacity, but it is the same thing. Now, another question is the ocean water the cup? No, it's not. You feel me? So therefore, your brain is not your mind, but yet still your mind is situated in your brain, your head, right? So therefore, your brain or your head is equivalent to space, just like how the universal mind is in space. Now, what is space? Okay, space is absolute. What does that mean? Space does not have a beginning. Space does not have an end. Space does not have any measurable circumference. Okay, space is unlimited. Okay, space is absolute. So if space is absolute, What does that make your mind? Your mind, universal mind, is absolute. So never let people trick you into thinking that you are only able to utilize 10% of your mind. All right? You are doing yourself a huge disservice. All right? So far, I hope this is making sense. If you're actually comprehending or understanding what I'm saying, do me a favor, please. Type some nines in the chat. Okay? Just a couple of nines. It don't look like we have a lot of people on right now, but that's fine. For whatever reason they're not on, it's cool. I know that YouTube and Facebook, they have been limiting my audience, and that's cool. That's what they do. People such as myself, they do that to us, right? I promise you, if I was on here promoting and talking about the low vibrational things and all these different things, I guarantee you my subscriptions would have been up in the hundreds right now. But I'm not doing that. You see what I'm saying? And it's okay. I'm not mad. Wagwan Zazi. All right. So the first thing we're going to do now, we're going to look at the etymology of space. All right. Let us go into the etymology of space. Now, the purpose of this lesson is to assist you in becoming more aware of who you are. Okay. Stepping into your true self. Now, I know I have the etymology of space somewhere. Where do I have that? All right, let me just go ahead and tap on that. And we have space. Etymology of, oh no, okay. Whoa, I thought I had etymology of space. That's interesting. All right, so let me type it in. Give me 1 second. Space. All right, so here we are. Etymology of space. Let me share this. Etymology of space. Okay. Now we have space, circa 1300, extent or area, room. To do something is shortenings, space, a period of time, distance, interval, room, area, distance, stretch of time. A word of unknown origin, right? Um, so basically, it was a word that was made up. Okay, between space points. I want to go further down. Now we're talking about in the astronomical sense. That's what we're looking at right now. Okay, we're not looking at a space as in a room or whatever the case is. We're looking at it from an astronomical perspective, right? In the astronomical sense is stellar depth, immense emptiness between the worlds as characteristics of the universe. All right. So that's what we're looking at right now. Okay. We are looking at it from an astronomical perspective. So once we're doing that, we're dealing with immense emptiness. All right. Immense emptiness. So once again, space is absolute. All right. Let us go look at the etymology of the word absolute. 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 What does it say? Unrestricted, free from limitations, complete, perfect, free from imperfection, also not relative to something else. So when we are talking about absolute, space is perfect. You feel me? Because space was not created, space has always been. So when we are talking about where did God come from and all these questions, you see, that is just man's way of trying to figure out where space came from. You feel me? Because no one created space. You did. Space has always been. Always been. You did. All right? So space has always been. Space has always been absolute. Let us look at the etymology of absolute once more. Unrestricted. So therefore, if space is unrestricted, therefore, if mind is in space and space is unrestricted, space is free of limitations and mind is in space. If space is complete and mind is in space, if space is perfect and mind is in space, if space is free of imperfection and mind is in space, then what does that mean? That mind is free from limitation. It means that mind is complete. It means that mind is perfect. It means that mind is free from imperfection. So when you are truly in tune with yourself, what are your characteristics in reference to mind and space? It means that you have no limitations. It means that you are complete. It means that you are perfect. It means that you are free from imperfections. The only thing that takes that away from us is the indoctrination and governments and religion, because they will put in place to take all that away from us. In other words, governments and religion and their ideologies, they have put us in a situation where now we are limited. Now we are incomplete. Now we are imperfect. And now we do not have the freedom of choice in terms of being free from imperfection. I hope that makes sense so far. You feel me? I'm showing you the capacity of the mind that's within you, because you are the space. You feel me? You are the space. And the mind within that space is perfect. Now, the space may not be perfect, but yet still the space is still perfect. It's perfectly imperfect. You did. But the mind is without blemish unless you allow people to control your mind. Now, when they control your mind, they could bring that mind into imperfection. They could limit that mind. That mind could become incomplete. So let us go back to the etymology of, now that we know what space is and space is absolute, now we're going to look at the etymology of mind. Etymology of mind. All right? Mind. And let's see what it deals with, or what is mind. Mind, which feels, wills, and thinks. So therefore, the mind, it feels. The mind wills. Okay? It wills. That's why you have free will, because your mind is free from imperfection. You dig? The mind thinks, because the only way for your thought, and what's within your mind, what's within your mind is your thought. Remember, I have given you the analogy of a diamond mind, a silver mind, a gold mind. All these precious jewels are in a mind. So when you speak of your own mind, the next question should be, what is the jewel that's in your own mind? And that jewel that's in your own mind are your thoughts. Okay, your thoughts. Now, if you have pieces of silver, if you have pieces of gold, if you have pieces of diamonds, I am certainly sure you will not just go all over the place giving it to everybody. I am sure you will not just allow anybody to come into your home and take your gold, your silver, and your diamonds. But yet still, the most precious jewel that you have are your thoughts, and you let everybody impede on your thoughts. That is because you don't know your worth. That is because you don't know who you are. So your mind and your thoughts, they are of no significance to you, because you have put yourself in a position where your gratification comes from the physical aspect of your being. In other words, you would rather gain the world than lose your, and then and you'd rather gain the world and lose your mind, lose your thoughts, lose who you are. Now, when it comes to your thoughts, how are thoughts triggered? Thoughts are triggered by thinking. So thinking is an action word. You feel me? So in order to trigger your thoughts, you have to think. But A lot of times, if you would ask somebody, well, what is the past tense of think? They would say thought. That's not true. That's not true. Think is an action word. Thought is basically well, is there even an English word for that? But basically, thoughts are the things that's within your mind. Okay? Thinking is not within your mind. Thinking is what is done to activate thought. So, mind, that which feels, wills, and thinks, the intellect. So, when we're dealing with mind, we're dealing with intellect. Okay? We're dealing with intellect. Memory, because of your mind. There's also memory, remembrance, state of being remembered, thought, purpose. Okay? When we're dealing with the mind, we're dealing with purpose. And that's why at the age of 7, I asked my son, who are you? Not what you want to become. Because, like I told you before, when we ask our children, what do they want to become? Automatically, we are putting in their mind that they have to be converted, meaning that you are not perfect. Now, the most appropriate question would have been, if you're going to ask your child that, what profession do you want to do when you get older, opposed to what you want to become? Because subconsciously, you are making an impression that what you are right now is not what you're supposed to be. You see how the confusion starts? Our what we call parents are supposed to be our guides, not our parents. A parent is strictly from what I call a totalitarian or a slave master perspective. A guide comes from an angel, and we are supposed to be their guardian angels. That's why you had the watchers. The watchers were guides. We are supposed to be their watchers, their guardians, their guardian angels, not their parents. You feel me? So when you ask your children once more, what do you want to become? You are making an impression in that subconscious mind that you are not perfect the way you are. So therefore, always in the back of their mind, even if it's not in their frontal part of their mind, which is the conscious mind, you are letting them know that, hey, at some point you have to change who you are. I hope y'all see the trick of Satan. And when I say Satan, I'm talking about the adversary. Anything could be the adversary. Your own mind could be Satan. In fact, your own mind is Satan because it's the adversary. You feel me? So therefore, purpose is mind. Conscious mind is the ability to know of the things within the mind. Once again, intellect, intention. Everything happens with intention. That's why there is no that people look at coincidence from the wrong perspective, because all co means to be with. You have a co-pilot, you have a co-driver. That means they are with you. So therefore, incidents happening with a coincident basically means that it was meant to happen along with. So everything is a coincidence. Everything. I hope everyone is following me as we go. When we deal with mind, we're dealing with thought, right? We're dealing to think. We're dealing with in archaic. In archaic means in older times or more ancient times, it means love. So when we're dealing with mind, we're dealing with love. If you do not love, that means you're out of your mind. Now, I'm taking y'all to church right now. I'm going to repeat that. If you don't know how to love and you do not love, that means you're out of your mind. Originally, memory, loving memory. That's what mind means. You feel me? And it came from the pi root men. So men, once again, it means to think. With derivatives referring to qualities of the mind or states of mind. So when we're dealing with men, men includes woman, the female man, and the masculine man, we should be dealing with love. Because when we deal with love, we're dealing with universal mind. Anytime you're not loving, that means you're out of your damn mind. You feel me? All right, then. Now that we know that mind is in space, and we know that space is absolute, so therefore it makes your mind absolute as well. And if your mind is absolute, it means your thought is absolute. And if your thought is absolute, it means that your thinking process is absolute as well. That's why they say there's nothing new under the sun, because everything is actually in thought. It has to be ignited through thinking. I hope that y'all are with me today. Okay? Let us proceed. Now we are going to look at conscious, because remember, we have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. Okay? And we're going to look at that from two different sources. We're going to look at it from the etymology, and we're going to look at it from the Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the etymology of conscious. Okay? Conscious. 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 Let us go back to circa 1600. Knowing, privy to. Okay? We could stop right there. Knowing, that's what conscious means. To know. People who deal with belief systems, they're not conscious. You see the difference? So when you hear people talking about, oh, I'm conscious, my question is, what are you conscious of? What do you know? And then when I ask them, what do they know? Then all of a sudden, they start stuttering because they don't know what conscious means. They're just going with the flow because everybody want to be conscious. The truth is everybody's conscious. My question to you is, what are you conscious of? What do you know? What information are you privy to? Knowledge. What are you aware of? You feel me? Now, if conscious means to know, and further down it says knowing, and it also says aware, but you always hear me say that I know everything, but I'm not aware of everything, then you may say, well, Chief, that is a contradiction, because it seems that knowing and aware is the same. Well, it's not. And I'm going to prove it to you, because I'm going to show you the etymology of aware. Even if aware is of knowing, knowing is not of aware. There's a difference. Just like how legal is of law, but law is not legal. You feel me? So therefore, conscious means knowing. Knowing. Opposed to, let me show you real quick, which this wasn't actually part of the lesson, but for the sake of this lesson, let us look at belief. You feel me? What does it say? Belief. Believe. Confidence, reposed in a person or a thing. Faith in religion. Belief, faith. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, belief doesn't have anything to do with knowing. Belief doesn't have anything to do with consciousness. It deals with faith and religion. You see the difference? No, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong in having faith. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, when you know, faith can be void. Or when you know plus faith, oh my goodness, you are unstoppable. Okay? So let us go back to conscious. So conscious in part and whole, we could stop here. It means to know. So therefore, let's go back to space. Space is absolute. Your mind is in space, so therefore your mind is absolute, right? Then what's in your mind? What are the jewels that's in your mind? They are your thoughts. So therefore your thoughts are absolute. What triggers or what ignites your thought is called what? What invokes your thought is called thinking. Thinking. Now, here's something that's gonna, I don't want to say blow your mind, because I don't want to blow your mind, but here's something that's gonna intrigue you or intrigue your mind. Let us go look at the etymology of God. And like I told y'all before, God means to invoke. So therefore, if thinking evokes your thought, then what does God do? God invoke your thought. Let's look at what it says here. We're not talking about the Christian version or what it means. All right. We are talking about from where it came. All right. Because what does it say? God. Here we go. God, it says supreme being, deity, the Christian God. That's only within the Christian theological sense, right? Image of God, likeness, etc., etc. But what does it say? It came from Proto-Germanic, Gothan, source Old English of Old Frisian, Dutch God, Old High German goat or Got, German goat, Old Noose, Gua, Gothic, Gop, which is what? An uncertain root. So we don't know where that word came from. However, perhaps from pi, the pi, which is got, that is what? Invoked. That is which invoked. So if God means that which is invoked, the question is, what are you invoking? And what are you invoking are your thoughts. So your thoughts is actually God. Oh my goodness. Chief, are they ready for this? Because everything is in thought. You see, I just showed you what God is and who God is. Thought. And what triggers invoke God is thinking. When you look at the etymology of God once more, okay, what does it say? Where it came from? It says gut, which is what? That which is invoked. So what are you invoking? That's what God means. That which is invoked. The question is, what are you evoking? What kind of thought, what kind of energy in that thought are you evoking? Is it righteous? Is it unrighteous? But nevertheless, it's thought. And to activate God, that which is invoked, you have to start thinking. You feel me? All right. So we know we had conscious. So conscious means to know. And it deals with the knowing, aware, right? With or thoroughly see con plus to know, see science. So science is to know. So what is science? Science is literally, once again, a derivative of consciousness. You have spiritual science. Okay, you have biology science. You have chemistry science. You have physics science. You have astrology science. I mean, it goes on and on. Let's see what science mean. The etymology of science. What does it say? What does science say? A state of fact of knowing. So how can religion be against science? When you tell me you know what you say in your Bible is true, that is science. You see, when people are ignorant and people don't study to show themselves approved, they make assholes out of themselves because they assume things. You feel me? That's what they do. So you cannot separate science from knowing. You cannot separate science from thinking. You cannot separate science from thought. You cannot separate science from the mind. You cannot separate science from space. You feel me? All right then. So we know that science and conscious, they're literally what we call synonymous. Hence, you have the word conscience. That's what science is. Science is conscience. You feel me? All right. Let's go to look at conscious in the Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary. Give me 1 second here. Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary. Let's present. Here we are. Consciousness. Okay. The knowledge of sensations and mental operations, or of what passes in one's mind, the act of the mind which makes known an internal object, consciousness of our sensation and consciousness of our existence seem to be simultaneous. Consciousness must be an essential attribute of the spirit. But that alone in itself, I am going to detest that, because I'm going to show you the difference between spirit and soul. So if it were me, I would put must be an essential attribute of this. Number two, internal sense or knowledge of guilt or innocence. That's where conscious comes in. Consciousness comes in. That's where your conscience comes in. All right. The ability of the difference of guilt or innocence. All right. That's what conscience is, good or evil. All right. The ability to deal with those. A man may betray his consciousness by what? By guilt, by his countenance. The countenance means your facial expressions, your physiognomy. Okay? You could betray your own consciousness by temptations. And the temptation is literally what we call Satan, the adversary. So when the allegorical Jesus went on the mount and he was talking to Satan, he was talking to himself. It was his conscience talking. You feel me? All right. All this stuff was allegory. Okay? Let us stop sharing here. And I remember I always say that I know everything, but I'm not aware of everything. And even in the etymology of conscious, you see it says knowing, and a few words down it says aware. Well, if that's the case, let me prove that wrong. Okay, so let me show you or prove what I said earlier to be correct, that aware is of knowing, but knowing is not aware. All right, so let us go look at the etymology of aware and see that it has nothing to do with knowing. Okay, but mostly watchful. All right, etymology of aware. What does it say? Watchful, vigilant, period. That's it. Okay, perceive, watch out for, wary, cautious. It has nothing to do with knowing. However, when you know, that means you know. But you could be aware of the things that you know. You see the difference? So therefore, once again, like I said, legal and lawful are different. Legal is of lawful, but law is not legal. Neither is legal law, but legal is of law. In other words, they took certain aspects of the law and took out the main ingredients of law, and they created what's called legal. All right? Now, we already dealt with consciousness. We dealt with the mind. Now we're going to talk about the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind. The subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, it says not wholly conscious. In other words, not wholly conscious, feebly conscious, partly conscious, not totally no in the know. All right? We have two of these words. Or subconsciousness, we have these two compound words, sub and conscious. First, we have to know what sub means, because we know what conscious means. Conscious means to know, right? So what we do is now we go look at the etymology of sub, because sub is a word forming element, which means what? To be under or beneath. So therefore, there is information that's actually beneath you knowing. beneath your consciousness. And that is what's called your subconscious. Okay? Because consciousness means to know. So if you are alert and you know something, then you are aware of what you know. But if you go lay down, what you call sleep, you no longer know these things because you're not aware of these things. However, within your subconscious mind, you partly know. And when it comes to the subconscious mind, that is where the reality lies. You see, because the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what's real or fake. I'm going to repeat that. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between real or fake. Now, here's the beauty about all this. Whether it's your subconscious mind or your conscious mind, it is still within universal mind. So if your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real or fake, and that is the real world, then guess what? Within the universal mind, the universe does not know what is real or fake. My brothers and sisters, pay attention to what I'm saying. Take heed to what I'm saying, because there's always a madness to everything I talk about. So you have your conscious mind and you have your subconscious mind. Your mind is literally is twofold. All right? One that you are aware of, which is your conscious mind, and then your subconscious mind, okay, that you are not aware of because you are in a dream state. You are in a state of what we call a comatic state. You're in a coma. That's what sleep means. It doesn't mean that it's not real. It just means that you're not aware physically at that time. But you are aware of that in another realm because you could see it, you could feel it, you could hear it. So it is real. But all these things are within the universal mind. The moral of the story is this: within the universal mind and within your individual mind, because your individual mind is an extension on a micro level of the universal mind, which is the macro level, right? And every time, remember, your thoughts are in your mind. And every time you think, which is the action word to invoke, okay? Anytime you invoke or you think, you are making what's called impressions. You are making what's called impressions. But before we go into impression, I want to even go further and break down universe. All right? Universe, because we did the mind, we did all that, we did that. We got to go into the universe before we go into impressions. So let's go into universe. Etymology of universe. Here we are. What does it say? Universe, the whole world, cosmos, the totality of existing things. So that's what the universe is. The universe is the whole world, the cosmos, the totality of existing things. That is the universe. Now, when we look at the word universe, right, it is a compound word. We have uni and we have verse. What does uni indicate? Uni, when we look at just uni right here, it means one. Okay? One. Word forming element, meaning having one only. So there is no other universe. There's only one universe. So when we speak of the multiverse, we are talking about characteristics or individualized universe. There is nothing outside the universe as in the whole cosmos, the whole earth, and the whole world. So when you hear all these self-made scholars, and there's nothing wrong in being a self-made scholar, all right, because I'm one of them. But when you hear a lot of these so-called woke people talking about, oh, well, the multiverse and this and that, that's a bunch of nonsense. All right. Everything is within the all. And when I speak of the all, I'm talking about the universe as in one all. You feel me? However, within that one all, you have universe, where you have multiverses, which you are one of them. I am one of them. You individually is a universe. You feel me? Because you are one in that grand scheme of what we call a universe. Now, remember, the word universe is a compound word. It's uni, which is one, and verse. So let us look at what verse means. So we could break that down. Verse. Here we are. Verse. It says, early Western Germanic, borrowing directly from Latin, line or section of a psalm or canticle, a line of a poetry. But it says line of a section of a song. So a verse is not the entire song. You feel me? Now, I'm going somewhere with this, all right? Because I'm going to show you how important you are, okay? A verse is not the entire song. However, it is a part of a song. So when we're speaking of the universe, all right, we are talking about the verse of an entire song, which is the all, right? But let us look at what psalm means. Psalm, the etymology of psalm. So when you read the book of Psalms, you realize that it's a book of poetry. Psalms. And I'm going to show you exactly what it means pertains to you and I. What does it say? Psalms. Sacred poem or song. So if a verse is a psalm and a psalm is a sacred poem or song and you are a universe, it means that you are sacred within that song. Which brings us now to impressions. That's how special you are. And you just don't know it. Because you, as a universe, you are part of that big song. I am a part of that big song, of that big poem. That's why it said in the beginning was the word. But that's not true. In the beginning wasn't the, you have to be more specific when you talk about the word, because what came before the word? Thought came before the word. So the truth of the matter is, in the beginning was thought, unspoken word, not the word. So you see, on so many levels, I could debunk religion and the nonsense that they teach. You feel me? All you need to do is be able to think outside the box. They said that in the beginning was the word. Well, I could prove you wrong, because I'm going to ask you, when you say word, what do you mean? Are you talking about the spoken word or the unspoken word? Because it's two different things. Because thoughts are unspoken word. So in the beginning was thought. And then thought was spoken, which gave birth to the Son. The first word was the Son of the gods. And yes, I said gods as in plural. I hope I'm not losing you here, because I have to keep this coherent. So we're talking about space. We're talking about the universe. We're talking about the mind, right? We're talking about, I'm breaking down universe, exactly what it means, to show you that you are individually, you are a universe, meaning one within the all or the totality, okay? Because that is why we are called individuals, all right? We are divided from the all, okay? We are divided from the all. But even in the word individual, there is still the word dual. So we are experiencing our individual selves divided from the all, but at the same time, we are still experiencing duality. The tree of life is in you, good and evil. That's why it says individual. In other words, experiencing the tree of good and evil from your own personal experience. That's what they're telling you as an individual. I'm going to repeat that. Individual means to be divided from the all inwards. It is all internal. That's why you have the word in the beginning of individual. And then you have divide, right? And then you have dual. So basically, they're telling you that within you, it's within you, there's a division, okay? Because you're divided from the all, but you are still experiencing the tree of life because the tree of life is within you, which is the duality, the knowledge of good and evil. All right. Hope we're on the same page thus far. Okay. So how did we get to Psalms? Because we're talking about the verse, poetry, because you are a poet. All right. You are the poet. You are the architect. You are the builder. We are the builders. Okay. We were the ones who spoke. We were the ones who thought. We were the ones who manifested from the universal mind. But they want you to think it's something outside of you. No, it was us. Obviously not in the form that we're in today, but it was us nonetheless. All right. We're going to look at impression because impression is key. Impression is key. Let us look at impression. All right, here we go. When we look at the word impression, what do we see? It says a mark produced by pressure. Also image produced in the mind. You hear that? In the mind or emotions by something external. My brothers and sisters, be careful of the impressions that you put on your mind. Like I told you, there's always a madness to everything I teach because I will bring it right back into the 360. Be very mindful of the impressions. In other words, the images, because an image is an impression as well. A mark is an impression. Words from other people are impressions. The music that you listen to are impressions. The food that you eat are impressions. The things that you see with your eyes are impressions. You feel me? When you look at someone and they look good, what do you say? I'm impressed. They just made an impression on your mind. And your mind is connected to many of your souls, but mostly your heart. And then from your heart is connected to your solar plex because your solar plex is the foundation of your life. That's why everything you say, I had a gut feeling. That's where all your feelings and emotions are within your solar plex. So if your solar plex is not vibrating at a high frequency, therefore the impressions that are being made on you will destroy you or make you. Let us read impressions again. Mark produced by pressure. What they say, pressure bust pipe, right? Also, image produced in the mind or emotions by something external. Okay? External. Let us read some more. It says to print. Impression is to print. Stamps, pressing on the mind. So when you have people coming into your life with the negativity, okay, the vindictiveness, okay, the hatred, the animosity, guess what they're doing? They are making impression on your mind. They are creating a stamp. They are making a print, an imprint on your mind. Late 13th century, it says pressing into, onset, attack. Because you see, they are attacking you figuratively, a perception, mental impression, literally pressing into. Then it says, meaning act or process of making a mark upon the surface or by pressing is from early 15th century, meaning copy and made by pressure from type or an engraving. So that's what these people are doing. That's what negativity is doing. So the type of impressions that you want, you don't want the negative impressions. You feel me? You don't want the negative impressions. Which takes me back to my first point, which is be careful of the impressions that you put in the universe. Because, like I told you before, the universe doesn't know the difference between right or wrong. The universe doesn't know the difference between right and left. The universe doesn't know the difference between up and down. The universe doesn't know the difference between good and evil. That's why I'm talking about you and I, as the architect, as the builders, we were the ones to know the difference between good and evil because we had to eat of the tree of life, but still at the same time also eat of the tree of good and evil so that we know the difference and know something that the universe doesn't know. But yet still everything is in the universe. It's in the all. So that's how special you are. That's how special you are. That's how amazing you are. Not even animals could process good and evil like we do. So, once again, my brothers and sisters, I'm going to repeat that. Be very mindful of the impressions. Even when you play a guitar and you take your chords, you are making impressions. Okay? When you play a piano and you tap that note, you are making impressions because we're still dealing with the verse, poem, poetry, music. So, in essence, if your life is not where you want it to be, then you need to start singing a different tune. If your life is not where you want it to be, you have to start making different impressions. It is really that simple, my brothers and sisters. If your reality is not what you want it to be right now, all you have to do is make a different impression. If you cannot change the people around you, change the people around you. Oh, I don't think y'all heard me. If you cannot change the people around you, change the people around you. Well, Chief, what are you talking about? That don't make sense. Well, guess what? Listen to it a little slower. Then it's going to make sense. But I'm going to say it one more time. If you cannot change the people around you, change the people around you. If you cannot change the music you listen to, change the music you listen to. All you have to do is turn the dial. If you cannot change the food you eat, change the food that you eat. All you have to do when you go to the store is buy something different. Because all these stimuli, they make impressions on your mind. And then the impressions that are made on your mind, guess what? The universe makes it a reality, therefore your mind makes it a reality. It is really that simple. Which takes me back to the very beginning, the now. Ask yourself, who am I? Not what I want to become. Because what you were always meant to be, you were born that way. So when you hear people talking about, oh, well, I don't know, I guess God wanted me to be a woman if I'm a man or a man. No, that's a bunch of bullshit. No, what you were born to be, you are what you were born to be. But people start asking you questions, what you want to be when you grow up. They're giving you an inclination that you need to be converted into something else. That's why it causes confusion. Impressions, my brothers and sisters, impressions. And as guardians, we are giving our children the wrong impressions. So therefore, if we give them the wrong impressions, it affects their mind and it alter their being in the now. Now let us focus on that word now before I close. Let us go into the word now. But before we go into the word now, we're going to talk about the New World Order. New World Order. Give me 1 second here. Let me drink a little water. Give me 1 second, please. All right. We're going to look at the word, we're going to look at the concept of New World Order. Why people are so afraid of New World Order. Well, let us go look at that. Because everything is right in your face, but most people are too blind to see. Okay? New World Order. Images, right? But we're looking at just the word, all right? Just the word. We ain't trying to go through all this stuff. Just the word. I'm see if I could find something with the word. Uh, just the word. Let me see. Let me see. Just something with just the word. I don't want. All right, here. Let me see. Okay. Mm-mm. But I'm just gonna show you. All right, give me 1 second. All right, this is not working for me. All right, I'll leave the word the way it is. All right, because I'm kind of giving it away, which I don't want to. But we're gonna look at the word itself, right? Just the acronym. All right, NWO, right? New World Order, right? When you look at the word New World Order, people are thinking of Illuminati and all type of stuff. All these things are in false impressions to create fear. Okay, fear. That's all it is. And you are the ones giving this. Just it's just false ideologies. You are the ones that's bringing it to life. Now, remember I told you about the now from the very beginning of this lesson. Look at the word New World Order. What does it say? It says you have the word now in there. You have the word one in there, right? The point I'm making is this, all right? New World Order, NWO, is literally now. That's what it is. It's about now. It's about the present. It's a lesson. But too many people are just too blind to see it. You feel me? And for those of us who see it, we have already what? Won. Because even in the word NWO, there is one, the past tense of win. So you have already won the battle. Because guess what? A lot of people did not get to see the NWO, the New World Order, which is the now. You don't believe me? Go to the graveyards. A lot of people cannot enjoy the NWO, which is now. Why? They're in jail. You feel me? So stop being afraid of these things. All NWO means New World Order. All it means is the now. New Order World. That's all they're doing. Is giving you false illusions. But you are the one shaping the reality because of the impressions. So all these impressions that you're imprinting on your mind becomes your reality. So why am I afraid of the now? Why am I afraid to win? Why am I afraid of the NWO? People who could bleed just like me. You know why? Because they're playing God and they're controlling our lives, sell us food, sell us clothes, sell us electricity. Why? Because we are the ones who allow it. Remember what it was? We were supposed to have dominion over everything. live life in abundance. But we became enslaved in Genesis chapter 2 by the Lord God. I'm not even going to get into that conversation again. But we got enslaved. That was the first institution of government. That was the first institution of slavery in Genesis chapter 2, when man had to till the ground. That was an institution of slavery, but people are too blind to see it. The world that was in Genesis chapter 1, there was no slavery. There was no tilling of the ground. There was things in abundance. So my brothers and sisters, become the better you by comprehending who you are, knowing about your mind, knowing about your subconscious mind, knowing about space, knowing about thought, knowing about the process of thinking, knowing about impressions. Finally, we're going to get into soul. All right? We're also going to get into soul. Soul. I'm going to give you soul and spirit, and then I'm going to get out of here. Soul. All right? When we look at the word soul, we could think of so many things. Solar energy, solar panels. Soul deals with the sun. People don't realize there are solar beings and there are lunar beings, which are actually spiritual beings. You see, people don't know the difference. And that's why my people perish for the lack of knowledge. 9 ether beings are soul beings. Lunar beings, the humans, are soulless beings. They are soulless beings, but they have a spirit, meaning that they just have the breath. All right? And when I say soulless being, all I'm talking about is the vibration, the rate of which their souls are vibrating is not as high as the solar beings, the 9 ether beings. The recessive race, yes, they have a soul, but it's not vibrating high as the heavy melanated 9 ether beings. Now, this is not about who's better or worse. That's not what this is about. I'm giving you not spiritual, but I'm giving you metaphysical facts. Okay, so soul, a substantial entity believed to be that in which a person which lives, feels, thinks, go back to thinking, which is the mind, right? From soul, spiritual, emotional part of a person. No, it's not. Animate existence, life. Soul is the life, living being, that's soul. You see? Because the life giver is the sun. The life sustainer is the sun. You feel me? So that is soul. Soul deals with the sun. Soul deal with the sun. And soul food was all fruits and vegetables with seeds. That is soul food, not the type of soul food they tell us that's giving us high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes. No, that's not soul food. You feel me? That is not soul food. That's the food of the lunatics, the lunar gods, foods of death. Soul food is in Genesis chapter 1. That is soul food. You feel me? All right. That's why you have a solar plex, which is your gut. Okay? The foundation. Your gut, your solar plex is your first mind. Then you have your respiratory mind, and then you have your mental mind. Okay? Now, let us look at spirit. Spirit. What does it say? Life, animating or vital principle in man and animals, right? But I'm going to say no. In respect to just breath, yes, because that's what it means. It says from French esprit, which is spirit, and it says 12th century soul. But remember that is in the 13th century, and soul was in the 12th century, so it cannot be the same. They told you it's the same, but it's not. It's not. 12th century came before the 13th century, so we are talking about a whole 1,000 years. When the word soul was being used, the word spirit wasn't even being used. You feel me? So therefore, the soul is not the spirit. The soul deals with the sun, and then spirit deals with breath, breathing, the respiratory or respiration, also of the wind, breath of life, hence life itself. But no, life itself is soul. When we go down further, what does it say? It says, in the English attested from the late 14th, divine substance, divine mind, all God, Christ, or his divine nature, also what the Holy Ghost. So a spirit is a ghost, a shadow. A shadow. The sun is not a shadow. The sun creates shadow. So therefore, the sun created the shadow of the moon, and those were the created beings from the moon, the lunar beings and the lunar gods. They are all shadow gods. They are ghost gods. That's why they took the mother, which is the soul, and they made her a ghost and called her the Holy Ghost. But like I said, that's going to skip a lot of people. So from that, they created spiritualism. Spiritualism deals with rituals of the spirit. What is spirit? A ghost. So therefore, you are dealing with rituals of a ghost, which comes or stems from lunar gods. The spirit is from the moon. The spirit is from the lunar gods, the breath. But the soul is life. Now, both of them, because we do need the breath of life, because it's the only way for the physical body to sustain the soul. So they work in conjunction with each other. You feel me? So I'm not saying that the spirit is not essential. The breath is not essential. Of course it is. We have to breathe. But I'm just teaching you the difference between spirit and soul. And that the nine ether beings, they have a soul that's vibrating on a higher frequency. Now, it doesn't mean that the non-ether beings cannot do it as well. They can. They could practice by the foods that they eat, all right? And they could vibrate on a higher frequency. In other words, they could elevate their souls as well. You dig? So I just wanted to point that out. All right, my brothers and sisters. I hope y'all found some value in that, all right? Because as you could see, and that's why I had to go through everything. Mind, body, and soul. It doesn't say mind, body, and spirit. No, it is mind, body, and soul. So you have, but if we are supposed to do it in the chronological order, it would actually be mind, soul, and body, or body, mind, and soul. No. Body, soul, and mind. Okay, because everything is within mind. The soul manifested from the mind. So it's mind, soul, body, or body, soul, mind. You feel me? Because the mind, the universal mind, is the ultimate. All right. And everything that came from the universal mind has a soul. And souls were taken and dropped into bodies, what we call avatars. So you don't have the I am in you is not a spirit. The I am in you is the soul, the I soul, the I of the Horus, the I of the Horus, the I of the sun. It's within you. That's why it's the I am. I am soul. You feel me? So when we are dealing with the now, the NWO, we are dealing with the now. Remember, you always have to say, I am. I am. Don't say, I want to be. No. You want to be what? You cannot be anything that you're already not. You feel me? Now, when we are dealing with profession, external things of the body, then that's fine. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a doctor. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But when we're dealing with your innate being, you cannot be anything that you were not. So now, instead of saying, I want to be, you say, I am. I am soul. I am God. I am intelligence. I am wisdom. I am financially free. Not financially free, but I am debt free. Those things you have to say, because now you are making impressions that's going to alter your life in a beautiful way. That's going to change your life in a positive way. Stop saying I'm broke. Stop saying that. Now, if you're financially challenged at the moment, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's a challenge. And then in life, we could face challenges. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you say you are broke, you are literally stating that you are broke and broken. You are poor. That's what you are saying. So you just created a reality for you. So you have to change those things. I am financially wealthy. I am. Not I want to be. I want to be doesn't have a time limit. That is not a goal. Any individual who doesn't have a goal will miss the basket every single time. I'm going to repeat that. Every individual who doesn't have a goal will miss the shot every single time. I'm going to repeat it because the first time I said it incorrectly. So I had to catch myself. Every individual who doesn't have a goal will miss the shot every single time. However, if you have a goal and you keep taking shots, eventually you will make one. You see the difference, my brothers and sisters? The difference in having a goal or goals, because that means you get to take shots. If you don't have a goal, you will miss the shot every time, because what are you shooting at? You must have a goal. So speak your reality in the now, because time is an illusion. When you start talking about, well, I want to be this in that time, no, now you are given, that reality, you are giving it to the lunar gods. You're giving it to the shadow entities. But when you say I am, you are talking to the soul. Because the soul is I am. The shadow is I want to be. You feel me? That's why you have man and mankind. Man is the soul. Mankind is I want to be man, a kind of man. You feel me? It's all in the words. And the words is what creates your reality by the impressions that's made on your mind, that's made on the universal mind. And it falls right back into your lap. And you have to be specific, because the mind, the universal mind, don't know the difference between good and evil. It doesn't know that. So you are the one that's steering the wheel. So you cannot just say, well, not that you can't. You can if you want to, but you should not just say, hey, you know what? I want a car. No. The universe will give you a car, but it's going to give you a car without brakes. It's going to give you a car that's missing a muffler. It's going to give you a car that's going to cost you more than you spent on the car. But you have to be specific. Write it down. Get a pen and paper. Okay, you know what? I want a car. Write the color down. Write the make. Write the year. Write every single thing. And if you don't want to get too intricate, just say, you know what? I want a car that is fully functional and safe. apart, from putting your little details as the color, the year, whatever, 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 in good condition. You have to be specific with the universe. Don't just say, I want a job. No, be specific. And don't even say, I want. Say, I have. I have. By you saying you have, what are you doing? You are literally igniting, invoking the process of thought that's within your mind, and it extends it to the universe, and the universe makes it a reality. It is really that simple. I promise you, if you start if you start thinking and behaving and manifesting that way, most of the things you used to pray for, I guarantee you'll get it faster from the Lord than you'll get it from the Lord God in the Bible. I promise you that. Because the universe doesn't ask you for any sacrifices. The universe doesn't ask you for any worship. Well, if you don't worship me, I'm not going to do this. You see the difference in religion and knowing the truth? That's the difference. Religion enslaved us. Religion took our power away. All the false gods and false idols they gave us is what's keeping us down, is what's crippling our soul. So all we have is the spirit, the breath, while your soul is vibrating on a low frequency. So they got people running around talking about they're spiritual, but they have no soul. Yeah, you're spiritual. Yeah, you're breathing. I know that. Everybody breathing. But what's up with your soul, though? At what frequency is your soul vibrating? All right, let me see something real quick before I get out of here. Man, I hope you guys are still with me, man. But I'm about to, done this though. Let me see. Uh, 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 Give me 1 second. Let me see something. All right. Let me show you something real quick. Show you that your solar plex does vibrate. All right. Here we are. Okay. Your solar plex, which is your gut. Because I tell people I like to prove the things that I talk about, right? I like to show and prove. All right. Your solar plex is your first brain. Okay. Your first mind, rather. All right, because your mind is not necessarily one place in your head. Your solar plex is your mind. That's where you get your first instinct. That's why you said your instinct told you what it's in your gut. That's your first mind. So that's why you have to be mindful of the things you eat, because if you're not doing that, then you are literally shutting down your first mind. If you're polluting the things that you eat in your stomach, right, you are literally not functioning with a high vibrational mind, which is your gut. That's your first mind, right? And then the next is your respiratory, dealing with the heart. And then, of course, you have the one in your brain. That's what they say, oh, you only use 10%, whatever the case is, right? But your first mind is your solar plex, your gut. And soul deals with the sun. So when you deal with the solar plexus, which is a chakra, it vibrates, it's supposed to be vibrating at a 528 hertz. Now, people who are dealing with the low frequency are nowhere even close that. No, it's not even close to that. So it deals with your personal power and confidence. You feel me? And decisions in making manifestations, my brothers and sisters. So you could listen to 525 hertz vibrational music and focus on your solar plex to help raise your frequency. You feel me? But I just wanted to show you that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not making these things up. Okay? I'm not making it up. Go into the sun, lift up your shirt, and expose your solar plex and connect the soul, connect soul to soul. You feel me? Why do you think I sun gaze all the time? Because I'm connecting soul to soul, because that is the source of the universal soul. So why wouldn't I want to connect? We got to keep vibrating, brothers and sisters. All right, we got to keep vibrating high. So now the higher you vibrate, the more efficient you will be in your manifestations. You don't have to pray for anything, my brothers and sisters. No, it's already yours. You already have it in abundance. All you have to do is claim it. It's yours. It's your birthright. You had dominion from the very beginning. But we allowed an entity in Genesis chapter 2 to take that away from us and made us slaves and tell us, no, well, you got to work for what you want. You got to work by the sweat of your brow. No, you got to till the ground. Who is you, dog? You ain't my God. You don't control me. I ain't got to pray to you, son. No, I'm not your slave. That's what religion has done to us. That's why the man that he made, he made didn't have no soul. He was on the ground for 42 days. If you want that information, go read the Nag Hammadi. I gave you the book already. Study to show yourself approved for 42 days. Until the light of Epinoa, a feminine deity, came down and breathed into his nostrils. And when he got up, he said, wow, thank you for this. I'll make you my woman. And even at that point, the woman was still the matriarch, because he said what? A man should leave his father and mother and go cleave to his wife. That was still a matriarchal system. But then the Bible God said, nah, man, I don't like women. I like men. So we're going to switch that around. That's why all your angels are men. Gabriel, all of them are men. You have a heaven full of men. And then you wonder why all of our men running around here, wanting to sleep with men. Well, guess what? That's what the Bible teaches. Subliminally. Everything is handed down to the man. In the Bible, almost every woman is a whore, a prostitute. She's unclean. When you go look at the movie Noah with Russell Crowe, what Noah was trying to do? Noah was trying to make sure the girl child was dead and not go into the other side of the world, because that's what he thought God wanted him to do. Why do you think all religions, they have the phallus? They're all phallic worship of the penis. Y'all don't even realize that. That's what your God got you worshiping, the penis. And not the symbol of the ankh, which is the womb, life, which is universal. But no, they got y'all worshiping dicks. You see what I'm saying? So people are, like I said, people are so blind, man. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. All churches, if you realize, most of them have a phallus on their buildings. because they're all religions that worship the penis. But behind closed doors, they worship the womb. That is just for the perception of the public. That again is an impression. So when your little boys want to be girls, don't ask, well, oh, I didn't know that's what he was. No, that's not what he was. No. He came here as who he was supposed to be, a he, not a shim, not a shem, a he. And she came here as who she's supposed to be, a feminine entity. But the impressions that are being made on our children, and these governments and these churches are supporting it. And you have all these women nowadays, they see men turn into women. Oh, you look good. Oh, well, what you mean she look good? That's a man. But every time y'all open your mouth, oh, well, I thank God, God pray for me. What type of Jerry Springer, what type of, Joe Biden demon crack stuff is that? You guys are using your God's name in vain. How could you be using your God, I pray and I this and I that, but at the same time, you see a man trying to be a woman talking about, oh, she's beautiful. Go ahead, sis. What type of foolishness is that? That's what y'all condoning, women. Y'all are condoning that. That's how far gone you are. You are not standing up against that foolishness. So now there's not even a definition of what a woman is. It is all based on, it is all subjective. If you cannot take control of your now, you will be a victim of the NWO. And now is New Order World. New Order World. If you cannot take control of the New Order World, then you'll be a victim of the New World Order. It is really that simple, man. What are you afraid of? You see, you're afraid because you are serving a God that taught you fear. Oh, no, just wait on me. Be persecuted. Just wait on me. Enjoy the hell. You don't realize that earth, the three-dimensional earth, is hell. You don't realize that. And heaven is your mind. However, you could transform the earthly hell into a earthly heaven. By all you have to do is change your mind, the different impressions. That's all you have to do. But you are going along. You are playing along. Okay? You are not rebuking these demonic energies. Your son want to be a little girl and you condone it. My son could never come to me and tell me, oh, well, daddy, I'm a little girl or I'm dating a man. Bro, if I don't take you out myself, don't come to my house. Yes, I said it. Because when I reached out to my ancestors, I asked my ancestors for a son, not a daughter. I asked my ancestors for a son to carry on my lineage, not a man who want to sleep with a man. That means you are killing your lineage. And y'all think it's all good? Nah, man. The system got to go. Babylon got to go. Rome got to go. Got to go. These demons got to go. Go take it back to Europe. That's why all the plagues and the famine was in Europe, all the way up until the 19th century. But y'all don't know about that because of their evil ways, because of their immorality. And they came into our Garden of Eden to poison our people with their ideologies and their religions. And everything is in the subliminal. They will not tell you the truth. But I was sent to tell you the truth. I was sent to raise those that are dead. Raise your soul. Raise you from the dead. That's what I was sent for. And like I told you before, bring any one of your pastors. I don't care who it is, any one of them. And let us do this live on TV. I promise you, they will not win. They will not win. I promise you, I will not lose. That's how confident I am in the truth and facts that I bring. Why do you think people are leaving the church? They just don't know where to turn. I'm going to give them somewhere to turn. I already have my ministry. Right now, I'm looking for a location out here in Brooklyn to start teaching the truth about this book. I'm going to give people back their divinity. I'm going to give people back their salvation. I'm going to give people back their Savior, which is them. Truth is your salvation, not belief. You feel me? Now don't tell me, and now I don't support your Lord God in the Bible, but that's something that you subscribe to. Don't tell me you subscribe to the Lord God in your Bible and you believe everything he says is true. And in the book he tell you, well, all these things is an abomination. I kill people for this. And here in 2023, you're telling me, well, it's all good. But yet still that's the same God that you pray to. That means you're a hypocrite, man. You're a hypocrite. You all are a bunch of hypocrites. And you are the ones that are blasphemous. And you expect to go into the same heaven that Lord is going to be in? No, he's going to break your neck. Because that's what he does in the Bible. Y'all think this man is a joke, huh? Y'all think that entity is a joke? Y'all keep playing with this Lord God. Keep playing with him. He's not the one to be played with. That's why he have to keep pushing fear. But he could only destroy you if you serve him. You feel me? If you pray to him, he have power over you. See, he can't touch me. He ain't got no power over me. Now, he may try to destroy people around me, but that's on them. But I'm protected. It doesn't mean what he does cannot affect me. I'm not saying that. All I'm just saying is he cannot destroy me. Because if somebody's fighting you, it doesn't mean that they cannot land in a punch. So obviously the punch is going to affect you. But the bottom line is who's going to win the fight? So that's what I'm saying. The Lord God in the Bible cannot beat me in a fight, in a spiritual fight. No. I'm too powerful for that. That's why I was sent. You feel me? But he's going to try to take the people, my loved ones. He's going to come at them. And that's what he does. That's what he does. If he cannot touch you, he's going to try to touch the people around you. Just watch. Anytime you live religion and you start questioning that God, watch how the people, the people that's in your life, watch how things are going to start happening to them. Watch. Because that's what the man does. He's vindictive. You have to keep sacrificing your soul to him. That's what he does. So I already know his nature. He cannot touch me because I'm not his slave. I'm not serving him. You feel me? And like I told y'all before, since at the age of 6, I knew something was wrong in that book. I knew something was wrong. I just couldn't articulate myself. And when I was old enough to do that, I left home because my parents were Christians. I did not want to be around that, but I didn't have a choice when I was younger. I never got baptized. It was something that I did not want to be a part of. They don't realize that, man. Religions are enslavement. They're tools of enslavement. If you're a Christian, you're a slave. If you're a Muslim, you're a slave. If you're Practicing Judaism, you're a slave. And I'm saying Muslim, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. If you're practicing Islam, you're a slave. You're a slave to these deities. You're a slave to these demigods. Okay? They are destroyers. They are warriors. That's why in the word warrior, you have war. That's what they do. That's the type of energy they bring. And that's why you constantly see it in the Bible. So you'll see at one point he's loving, at one point he want to kill you. That's bipolar. Same thing with the Jesus in the Bible. He came to bring the sword, turn the mother against the father, and another time love your neighbor as yourself. People don't realize those are two different entities. You have the evil one and you have the and the good one. But your pastors and your preachers and your imams and all of them, they're not telling you the truth. So they got you worshiping the evil one. So when you pray, the universe don't know the difference between good and evil. But because evil is running the world right now, all your prayers go to the evil God. So you have to be specific and you have to use the word righteous. Righteous, eternal. And not just father, but mother. You cannot leave the mother out of the picture. So when I talk to what you may call God, all right, I say righteous mother and father. In fact, I even extend it and say righteous eternal mother and father, meaning that the absolute mother and father, the one that doesn't have an end and the one that did not have a beginning. So now I know my affirmations and my honor and my glory is going to the right entities, to my right ancestors, because they're all my ancestors. See, that's the difference when you are being specific and not just putting out your prayers out there to the wind and hoping it goes to the God you want it to go to. There are many gods. All right. So I just want to come and share this little bit of information with y'all. Like I told y'all, man, do what you want. If the information, eat it with a grain of salt. It doesn't matter to me. All right. I'm just doing what I was sent here to do. Give you the information to teach, raise those that are soul, that are dead in the soul. I'm not going to say spirit, but those that are dead in the soul, so that I could revive your soul so that you're able to vibrate on a higher frequency and start recognizing your strength and how powerful you are, and that you are the architect and you are the builder of your own reality. Nobody else but you. Okay? Nobody else but you. Even the Bible gave you an example in the allegory or the metaphor. It says, listen, go back to being children. What do children do? If you take a child or children and it doesn't matter what color, what race, what ethnicity, and you put them together, guess what? They're all going to play together. What does that tell you? Race, color is an illusion. That's number one. All right. Take a basket of toys of blacks, right? And you put children, what they're going to do? They're going to take those things and they're going to create something. And if they don't like what they create, they're going to dismantle it and they're going to create something until they are satisfied. You feel me? If a child wants to climb out of its crib or it want to climb on a chair or couch, the child, it doesn't matter how many times the child falls, the child will get up and try over and over and over until they get on that couch. That is the nature of what you call God. The child is giving you the example. The child is actually teaching you that I am a direct example of God. But y'all miss that. So now with your indoctrinated self, you convert your child. Take them away from their nature, from what's natural. Oh, well, don't do that. Do as I say. Go to school. Do as your teachers say. You got to grow up to be a job. Well, you got to be a police officer. You got to be this. You got to be that. But mommy, daddy, I know who I am. That's why from a very, very young age, you have to make them aware of who they are. That's your job as a guardian. And stop trying to become. All right? So y'all have yourself an amazing continuation, man. I love y'all. Continue to send lots of positive energy into the universe. And I hope some of that just trickle down on you and your eye, your first eye. Your first eye is your pineal gland, right? No, it is no coincidence in the Bible when Jacob wrestled with an angel, which later they said a man or a god. What did he do? He called the place pineal. That means that he literally opened up his first eye, what you call the third eye. It's not your third eye, it's your first eye. That's what he did. He wrestled, he struggled. Ask yourself a question: how could Jacob fight with God and win? It's an allegory. It meant that his pineal gland was calcified. Okay? Because Jacob was not a nine ether being. You feel me? His pineal gland, he was born with a calcified pineal gland. And he wrestled with himself, okay, so that he was able to unblock or decalcify his pineal gland. When he finally did that, he defeated, okay, the demon that was trying to prevent him from opening up his pineal gland. And when it opened up, then he said, my life is preserved. He saw God face to face. In other words, his pineal gland opened up. You dig? My brothers and sisters, man, it's all metaphor. It's all allegory to tell you your story. And many of you are running around here with calcified pineal glands. You feel me? All these things are allegory. And when you decalcify your pineal gland, then you see God face to face, your life is preserved, then your name will be changed from Jacob to Israel. It is all allegory, man. But you want to continue to stay in Egypt, which means bondage. It is all allegory, man. You know what? I'm done. I'm done. I love y'all, man. I'm out.